So basically it started off and I was walking past a huge army or something. It looked like orcs and things from Lord of the Rings, but I'm not quite sure. So I carried on walking past them, and eventually I got to some sort of snowy balcony, and I was looking out, surveying, like, yes, this is my army. And I realised that I was Emperor Palpatine, which is a bit weird because I was old and wrinkly, and Darth Vader was next to me, so me and him just walked off somewhere, which ended up being a station, and we got on a train together, and we started talking about his domestic life, which is not a thing to talk about Darth Vader with. So I was telling him that he should move to Coruscant because he was getting a bit restless in the Death Star, and he was like, you know, I'm looking for a move, but I'm not sure if my wife would be keen because she really loves the Death Star because apparently Darth Vader had a wife in this up. And I was like, no man, you should come and hang out in Coruscant with me. It'd be really cool, you know, just us guys together. And then his wife is also on the train and comes up and starts telling me off and saying my bad influence on him. Then at this point I realised I'm not actually Emperor Palpatine, I'm just an actor in some sort of film, and I can see the camera in there, and I'm trying not to laugh at this point because I know this is a really serious scene that we're doing and we've got to set it just right, and I'm just there like... But eventually we get it shot and it's done, and suddenly I'm just me again, no makeup or hood, I'm not Emperor Palpatine anymore. And we're on the train, and it pulls up at this big station. It's like a kind of shopping centre on the other side, but it's a station, apparently. And for some apparent reason, I pick up some gold shoes, an umbrella, and a blazer that I find on the floor because I think they belong to the people I'm travelling with. So I take them off the train with me, and I'm like, I got your stuff? And they're like, that's not our stuff. So I realise I've just stolen a bunch of stuff from the train, and it's just left. And I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do? So I think the best thing to do is to hand it into the lost property and pretend I just found it, because I'm a genius like that. So I set off and try to find it, but the stairs are all barricaded off, and I'm just like, oh, I can't get up these cordon stairs, I'm going to have to go all the way around. And then I'm running around the station trying to find my way to the lost property office, and I wake up. The earliest part I can recollect was sitting on some sort of cable car and falling asleep on it because I was very drowsy and just the swaying of it made me fall asleep. But unfortunately, then when I was still asleep when the cable car came to a stop, and while everyone else was getting off and transferring onto a train, crazy to be a lot of my dreams lately, I don't know why, I was still asleep. But then I woke up and I could see that the train was getting ready to leave, and I was trying to cut through the cable car, but apparently it was too narrow a gap, so I had to run all the way around it. It was like a long roller coaster kind of setup with lots of cable car seats in a row, run all the way around, and then the only seat left on the train, which for some reason had one wall missing, so you just had to jump on and like sit in the seat, was right at the end. So I was running there and I just managed to jump on, and the train conductor started having a go at me because I was too late. So eventually this train pulls up in a shopping centre. Shopping centres as well seems to be another big thing in my dreams lately. And I was in there and I was playing hide and seek with a bunch of people that I know in all lots of furniture that was stationed all around, and I ended up in a bookshop and got walled in by lots of books, and it was terrible and awful, and then I woke up. I was trapped in a kind of half-sleep where as soon as I closed my eyes I was back in the dream, but as soon as I opened them again I was back in my room, and this kept going on for about an hour or two, so I didn't make much progress in the dream. Although I was trapped in a really big room filled with all sorts of monsters, which was obviously influenced by me watching Cabin in the Woods the day before, and they're all just kind of just jumping around shouting out chocolate bar names like Chomp and Fudge, which was really quite bizarre. And then as the more times I woke up and went back to sleep again, the less of a threat they seemed to become, until the point where I could just kind of just move them around as will, like a game of Sims, and just pick them up and put them somewhere else, and it was all fine. And then I kind of got out of that room and just found a really big box and looked in the box and there was nothing there, and I woke up.